Hello, everyone. I just wanted to talk for a few minutes about how this car project is going to work. This is the upcoming assignment. And so we're just going to walk through a little bit of some things you'd want to know for this. So the assignment is going to be to get this car to be fully functional, to write the code to make this work via Bluetooth, and also to have a design around the car itself. So there are two valuable prizes for this assignment. So there'll be once you submit your assignment, there'll be a vote. You'll get to vote on which car design you think is the best. So feel free to decorate it and stylize your car any way you want. People have been really creative in the past with it. And so you can go as far as you want with that. And then the second prize is for the best driving car. So I'm just going to have you film a video and upload it. And you're going to try to get your car to basically drive in a figure eight, like a number 8 or infinity, because it's a little tricky to get the turning right. So that's kind of the goal of this assignment. So really what you're going to be doing is just handling the Bluetooth controls to make this go forward, go back, and then turn left and turn right so you can drive it, essentially using the Bluetooth app. So to kind of go through this assignment, I'm just going to walk through sort of the starting code that I'm giving you, as well as kind of some tips on how you would build that out. So in the project, this is just kind of the next step of the last assignment. And so you can kind of walk through this one. You already kind of are familiar with the wiring diagrams. This is just here again for your convenience. And what I've given you is I've given you starter code. This is very similar to the project we did in class, except it's just kind of cleaned up and has just all the Bluetooth connection is handled for you. So I'm going to show you what's in this file, and then we're just going to walk through some tips. So you just click this link, you'll be able to download it. And then in the rest of the assignment, it just essentially says what I mentioned before. You're going to just design your car a little bit and create a sketch that works with the Bluetooth app to control it to drive. That's it. So if you download that starting project, what you'll have is the following. Okay, so this is the project that you get, and this is where you're going to edit everything. And this is just as we talked about in class. There's the Argon BLE setup.h file. You can leave this alone if you want. If you want to change the device name, you can. It doesn't really matter all that much unless you're around other people that also have an Argon, and then you want to pick a different name with maybe your name or something so you could identify it. Otherwise, it doesn't matter if you're just in your apartment or somewhere by yourself. Otherwise, this file is fine. You can just leave it alone. You don't have to change it. Bluetoothcar.ino. This is similar to what we used in class. It's actually already set up for you with the Bluetooth. So if you look here in the setup function, it's calling the BLE setup file. So that's already done. So really all you're going to be doing is you may choose to define some variables up here, pin headers, things like that. And then everything you're going to write is going to live here in the on data receive, because you're going to be sending commands to the device back and forth. So kind of as a reminder, let me show you again the app. So when you open up the Bluetooth app, once you have the code flashed to it, right, you're going to go again go to Argon Connect, and then you should be able to see controller and then control pad. And the goal is that you're going to use the up, down, left, right buttons to control the car. Now, how you implement that in terms of like what does the up do, what does left, right do, that's entirely up to you. In most turning, you might not use back. You still have to program back, but it's up to you whether you use it. You might just use left, right, and drive. So you're going to get to decide how you want to implement that. So as you're sending this up, the up button or the left button, the on data receive is going to get called, just like we talked about in class, and you're going to interpret that and cause the motors to do something. So if we look back at the code, if you think about what on data received is doing, let's just kind of brainstorm a little bit. I'm going to give you some tips about how you might design this. Now you can build the car functionality any way you want. And honestly, the on data receive is actually, there's not going to be that much code in it. This is not an extensive assignment. Sort of a chance to get to play with the car. but think about how this might work. So we'll kind of talk about this. So, right, this is a car. It has two wheels. It has two motors. And so there is no polarity in the motors because you can connect them either way. But if you think about, the way I would encourage you to build this, although you can, again, do it different ways, is to kind of build it in using multiple functions, which just kind of makes it easier to think through. And so, I might think about, okay, so I need to, like, how do I get my car to go forward, right? So I might first go, well, okay, well, what is forward? Well, forward, might be my left motor, and it might be going forward, right? So that might be forward. And that's also then my right motor going forward. So in this case, what I might do is I might actually, just to make it clean, actually make three different functions, right? There's kind of a left motor, and that could go forward, right? Maybe this is a parameter. And then right motor, maybe this is a parameter that can go that way. So when you call forward, it's going to call these two functions to move it forward. And kind of by extension, you can think about, I might have a backward function, right? And so what do you want backward to be? Do you want backward to be, left motor, backward, however you want to distinguish that, right motor, backward as well. So you kind of build it up that way. Again, that's using these same two functions, maybe a parameter that you pass in, and then backwards another function. So you're going to be triggering, for example, forward or backward, or however you want to design it, when you push a particular button on the keypad with the Bluefruit app. And so one of the things you get to think about, which is a challenge you can kind of explore, is, well, what is left, right? And what is right? How do you want those to function? Because there's different ways you can set up what does left turn, what does right turn mean. So it's kind of up to you to implement the left and the right in particular, what you think makes best sense. And then when you think about, right, so kind of jumping down for a second, when you think about what the motor is, right, so how do you get basically any motor with a motor driver to turn? So if you think back to class, we actually talked about when you want a motor to turn a certain direction, right? There are three components you need to set, okay? So when we talked about the way a motor works, a DC motor, for example, there are three parameters you have to basically be mindful of to make it go one direction versus another direction, and try setting those. So that's kind of my hint, is that when you think about what is right motor forward, right motor backward, think about the logic of, okay, well, when the motor is going to turn, what are the three parameters I have to set, and how would I make those work? And so you're going to just program these four operations, right? These four statements in here, right in here. Same way we did in class. You can look at the notes from class about how you set it up to receive the signals, series of if statements in particular. And then you can get to decide, well, how do I make my car drive in circles? Now, you're going to be controlling it like a video game. You're not programming it to, autonomously drive in a circle. Although you could, that would be interesting too. But this was really designed as almost like a game controller, where or an RC car, you're going to be using those four buttons to make it drive in these like sort of loop-to-loop figure eights.